Welcome back to Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. And boy, are things heating up in this studio episode.
Streaming. There are so many streaming services and so many new ones coming out as well. The failure of Quibi left a new space open for a new app, Clockit.
Clockit is the first streaming service only available on your smartwatch. It is very mobile, it is very exciting, and they are full of enthusiasm about their slate. So we talked to some of the executives of Clockit to see just what it's all about.
Get ready to hear all these executives and get ready to pay your subscription for Clockit.
Okay, what do we say?
What do we say?
TikTok!
TikTok, everybody.
TikTok.
TikTok time's running in.
This is so exciting! We are here. It is the executives of Clockit.
Really excited to be here for Clockit. I'm really excited for Clockit. I'm really excited we're getting together, we're doing it. Talk. Tick-tock. We're in. Really fun.
TikTok.
Shall we go around?
Yeah, let's do it. Hi, I am Goofin, and
Goofin, Clockit.
Hi, guys. I'm Goofin. I'm one of the producers and one of the head marketing CEOs for the new app, Clockit, coming to a watch near you.
Love you, man. We couldn't do what we do without Goofin, I'll tell you that much.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Cheers, Goofin. Cheers.
Thanks.
Hi, I'm Giglin Richards, and I am an executive here at Clockit, the first app on your phone ever.
Well, that's legally, we can't say that. Also,
right.
I wanted to say, guys, legally, we can't keep saying TikTok. TikTok is an app. It's a very popular app.
It's our office way we talk to each other.
Yeah, I know, but that's office versus on camera.
It's
so.
office versus on camera.
I clocked that.
She clocked it.
That's good.
Giggling, I noticed that you said on your phone as well. It's more on the watch, isn't it?
It is on a watch. It is on a watch. It's tough to remember.
Yes. But I will say also legally, all watch apps have to also be on a phone. That's how those apps work.
Right. But
Okay,
if
just
you
saying
watch...
our names.
All right, yeah, we're just saying our names.
Okay.
My name is Chortle Mulroney. Nice to meet you all.
Say it one more time.
Chortle? My name is Chortle. C-H-O.
Chortle, we know you.
Chortle.
You're in the office.
Chortle and Giglin and
Goofin.
I can't believe we all found each other. I can't believe it. I really can't. I am, of course, the head of comedy at Clockit, making comedy. I'm the vice president of comedic programming, sitcoms, what have you, all the funny stuff. That's all me.
Hello, mate. My name is Toot. And I am, how we say, the main sole investor in Clockit. I birthed this in a little place we call the UK, brought it over to America, and had a meeting with these fools, and it's been the best partnership we've ever had since.
I mean, I can't believe we found each other.
It's been.
I can't believe it.
I literally can't. I can't.
Goofing, giggling, chortle, and shoot, too.
And Toot.
And this isn't the first collab for the Laughin' Boys, as we used to call ourselves.
Yeah.
We tried to do a streaming service that was only viewable on your microwave. We tried to do one that you could only do on your grill through the flames of the fire. And we tried to do one only visible in your own eyeballs. Now, we were way ahead of our time.
Yeah, that was fun. The biggest problem was the lack of technology.
The biggest problem was that we are not smart enough to do that.
I thought Liddy was my favorite one.
It's just about finding tech that will match up with the creative, right?
Yeah, and I thought one idea I really loved was the one where, for surfers, where you project funny videos on the waves as they come in.
Yeah.
I thought that was such a good idea.
I talked to so many surfers who talk about how bored they get surfing.
No, it's such a thing. But the tech
Surfboredom kills. It kills 100,000 surfers a year.
Surf boredom.
Because
And that was the name of our show we were trying to get him to watch.
Surf boredom.
Boredom.
God, I love working with the laughing boys. I remember when I told Mummy, I said, Mummy, I just got my inheritance. I had turned 25 at the time. And I said, Mummy, what am I going to do with all this money? What am I going to do with billions and billions of dollars?
Right.
And she was like, well, you can go to Bill Gates and you could go to Oprah. You can go to Shondaland. You could do all these different things, you know. And then I said, she was like, where do you lie? And I was like, I like inventing in the quirky space, right? I like, what is it? Thinking of things nobody has thought of, right? And that's when I read the article about the streaming service for the microwave that never saw the light of day. And I said, how have these laughing boys not seen the light of day? And that's when I made that phone call. And then I realized you guys only communicate via pages.
Yeah.
And I sent you a
Quirky.
page.
I don't trust a phone.
Yeah.
I'll just say that I don't trust a phone. But you know what? And I'm so glad you reached out. What I think we should do, we haven't even talked about our darn thing yet. How about we explain exactly what this thing is?
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Try it.
Basically, we saw everybody in the U.S. and Asia and Africa and Europe and even Antarctica
And,
and South America
and,
Greenland,
and,
Arctic,
and.
Australia.
There he is.
There it is.
There he
I was pulling a prank.
You got him by the balls.
Anyway,
By the
we
balls.
saw everybody looking at this thing. And guess what? It wasn't their phone. It wasn't their computer. It was a thing on their wrist. Something that we like to call a watch.
Let me ask you if this sounds familiar. You're on the street corner.
What?
You're standing. A gentleman approaches you with a hat.
And you're standing.
And you're standing. A gentleman approaches you with a hat. And
Here's
he
a
says,
hat.
excuse me, sir. Do you have the time?
Oh, I don't know. Do I?
Yeah, you do. It's on your watch.
Great. And I look at my watch, and what am I watching?
Adam Sandler's new show, Sand It Down, where he talks to different professional sanders and contractors around the globe. And that's just a glimpse of some of the original programming we have only on Clockit. That's right, a streaming service only available on your wrist.
Yes, I'm walking down the street now. Now what?
Oh, okay, she's
I'm walking. And then I see you there in the hat.
Here I am. I'm in a hat.
And I ask you, what time is it?
Oh, well, I can show you.
Oh, but what are you watching there?
Well, it turns out I'm actually watching a brand new sitcom about a bunch of teenage boys who learn to skateboard, but they only use paper for their skateboards.
And that's on Clockit,
And
the
that's on
only
Clockit.
streaming service on your clock.
And it's called Paperboarders.
And you know, I get a lot of questions. Sometimes I'm on the street.
Oh, we get a
Sometimes I'm
lot
on the
of questions on the street.
Sometimes I'm on the street. I'm in a hat.
Hey, you there?
Yeah. Hello, sir. I have a question for you.
Yes.
I see you're watching amazing television on your wrist. Can I watch that same show on my phone?
No!
And that's the difference.
So imagine this. I'm walking on the street. I'm walking.
Beep,
My-
beep. Hey, I'm driving here.
Hey, watch out. He drives
Hot
by.
dogs, get your hot dogs.
Okay, I'm not hungry for hot dogs. My wife is in a hat. Think about that. My wife is in a hat.
Think
like
about
me.
it.
I say, look over at my wife. I look at, you're not my wife, but you pretend you're my wife.
Of course.
I say, hey, honey, what are you watching on your fucking little watch?
What am I watching? It's my new favourite show by Anthony from the Queer Guys Boys.
Yeah.
And it's him.
And then I say, hey, I want to watch that too. And we do something, we call it the Clockit link. And I slam my watch onto her watch, and all of a sudden, I'm watching it too.
Yes, it's like a QR code. The day that we figured that out,
It
in
was
the
a
Laughing Boys office,
huge day
it
for
was
us.
nuts.
We created the most spreadable content you could ever have.
We
You
were
can
so
link
excited.
it.
We were so proud of ourselves. We doubled our Adderall prescriptions.
It was amazing.
It was awesome.
It was
Now,
fantastic.
Here's my last and final pitch for you, viewers. You may be watching a good show on your watch, and someone does ask you what time it is. How can you watch TV and know what time it is at the same time? During our TV shows, you can ask any single character on the screen what time it is, and they will tell you.
Yes.
So it is a functioning
Yes.
watch.
It's
Yes.
amazing. This technology is amazing. You
technology
tap
is
your
incredible.
screen, it comes up with a thing, and you ask a character in the show what time it is, and they answer with the answer.
It was the most expensive thing we've ever filmed.
We shot a show with Chance the Rapper hosting, showing people his house, and we had to do a million takes of Chance saying every possible time it could be any time.
Right.
Every possible checkpoint, because we have checkpoints every 2 seconds in the show. So if you ask, like, what time is it, and it's 11:57, sometimes you have to wait, like, 2 seconds for Adam Sandler to then turn to the camera and say, it's 11:57.
Absolutely.
And then turn back to the scene. That is NASA-level technology.
And for Chance the Rapper's house tour, we shot with him maybe 30 minutes, right? We shot 30 minutes of him walking around. And then we shot maybe 4 or 5 weeks of him saying every single minute of every single hour.
Well, that's why we had two crews. We had crew A and B, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Every show had 2 units. is
Show
what I'm
crew,
trying to say.
clock crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Team A, easy job.
Easy.
And then
B, a nightmare.
Team B, we had to hire psychiatrists.
Yes.
We did.
It was almost like active combat for
And let
those
me say,
people.
the cinematographers we got for Unit A for the Adam Sandler show, it's
Yes.
beautiful shots.
down.
But the clock DPs, it's just straight shot, lock the camera, they're done.
And that was also a very interesting thing where a little when you're building a new app, you
Yes.
run into a couple complications. One of the biggest complications I'd say we'd have was the dimensions of an iWatch.
Right.
It is not a good dimension. It's 2 by 2,
Of course,
basically.
of course.
1 inch by 1 inch. It's square. It's awful. So we had to kind of put these. We got these really lovely Alexas and Aries, highest cameras you could pay for, and then we'd put little boxes on them to limit how much you could get, just so it looks like a watch. So.
Right, and imagine, comedy, I always like to say my favorite thing is comedy is in the wide shot.
Yeah.
I like to really hit a big wide shot and get a little crazy. I'm a British guy. I love
It's very
Mr.
funny when
Bean.
they're very far away from
Right.
you.
We were really proud of ourselves. We got Mr. Bean himself, Rowan Atkinson, to revive Mr. Bean.
Mr.
Reboot
Bean.
Mr. Bean.
One of the
for
biggest
what?
shows on Clockit.
And
One of
Mr.
the biggest
Bean
shows.
in this one talks the whole time. There is no physical comedy whatsoever. Because we thought, it's 2022. What would Mr. Bean be doing now?
I
Yes.
said, it's 2022. We cannot silence Mr. Bean anymore.
We cannot silence. He's been silenced for way too long.
It
For way
is-
too long.
God, when you walked that into the pitch room and you said what you just said,
Well, we cannot silence Mr. Bean. It's 2022.
I said, here's my inheritance. Take it, put it on a clock,
Yeah.
and give it to people.
And I gotta hand it to Toot because we took this to every venture capitalist in town.
We did.
And they all said something to the degree of no or ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
The ha 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 directed at us, not with us. But you
Toot, you had the bravery,
You
the
had the bravery.
audacity.
had the kahunas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, God. I don't have balls. I'm a woman.
Funny
God, no,
woman.
I really
A
appreciate
very
it.
funny woman.
Hilarious woman.
She's a funny woman. This
My
one.
family's estate, they tried so hard to keep my money from me as long as possible.
Yeah,
because they
You
knew.
come from a line of
War criminals.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say weapons manufacturing.
Oh, all of the weapons. And they knew when they gave the money to me, it'd be like money in the Butterfinger hands. It'd just fly up and fit the ground.
Yeah.
And I knew.
A classic British phrase you always
the
say
Butterfinger
around the
Butterfinger
office.
in the hands. And I knew that I was different than my family. They use money for what? Productivity? Guns?
War.
I think not. I think let's give Mr. Bean a voice.
Well,
You're
I-
waging a different kind of war.
Yes,
Yes.
I am.
The streaming wars.
yes. And
Amen.
brutal.
Let's talk about our experiences because we all come from different streaming work,
yes,
right?
yes.
Because I remember I gave about $5,000 to Hulu and I never saw that again.
You gave $5,000 to them?
Why did you
Was
send
that
them?
an investment
Why
or a
did you send
subscription?
them $5,000?
You're a billionaire. You gave them
Was that the subscription? Or was that just
Were
a
you
generous
just being
donation? Was it a
nice?
PBS type of thing where you just wanted to support them?
Again, I have Butterfingers. I don't know what to do with my money. And I thought, let me just mail them $5,000. Maybe they'll use it for something good. I never saw that money again.
What were you expecting to see? We expect you to see that money again?
I thought the company would grow.
Yeah.
Well, so I came from another, I think we all came from different streaming platforms. I came from the Twix streaming platform. Twix Chocolate was trying to launch this beautiful, beautiful idea of.
It was gorgeous.
It was dramatic. It was gory.
And in theory, it was beautiful. It was sexy.
It was sexy. It was
It
going to be
reminded me
new.
of the Getty Villa.
Yes, it was very
it was
Getty
so
Villa of
silky.
vibe. It was so good.
It was kind of the Getty Villa meets a water park in a way.
Yes.
It was so sexy.
Everybody in bathing suits, and you can ride a ride. But you can also see historic Greek art. That's what it felt like to be in that room, to be on that thing. But
That's the problem with it, right? It was a room.
Yeah.
The streaming service was a room.
yeah. So the idea was we'd
Theater.
stream one room
It was a theater.
the entire time, and if you bought enough Twixes, you could get entrance into the room.
Well, that's a lot of these streaming services, right? They think they're making something completely brand new, and accidentally we built a theater. Right?
Yeah.
No, accidentally we just did something that's already happened. But that
Yeah,
oops.
yeah.
Whoopsie, we made the Geffen Playhouse.
Like, Netflix thinks they're so original. You guys know I came from Netflix.
Yes.
I was the town dunce at Netflix. I was responsible for being sort
Giggling,
of a court
I can't
jester.
believe that at all.
I never believed that, giggling. I never believed
and
that.
I remember
I
you
know,
walked
because
into
I'm a pretty straight-laced guy, right?
you are straight laced to a T.
But you should have seen me at Netflix. I had a traffic cone on my head, and they paid me to sort of walk around in circles, sort of act like a juggling buffoon. I could never juggle. They said, don't learn to juggle, but keep juggling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that
and
totally
I would
makes
say,
sense.
No. And
Yeah.
they'd be like, yes, that's right.
And I always thought it was so devastating because you had such good show pitches that Netflix turned down and
Yeah.
that now Clockit has.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
I'm so excited, and I cannot believe that Netflix turned this down.
Yes.
But Coolin' Off with Jennifer Coolidge.
It's genius.
Where she takes dry ice and she puts it in places you would never think of.
It's crazy where this woman puts dry ice.
And could you imagine watching her put dry ice in her cooter and then asking her, what time is it? And she looks at you and she says, 4:45.
You're never going to get
you
that
even
anywhere
imagine?
else but Clockit.
And it was awful to film that. It was awful. Jennifer Coolidge struggled through that whole thing. Dry ice burns.
What about that show that you brought over from Netflix that they ripped you off, by the way? Is it Crab?
Oh, Crab. Yeah, that was Downton Abbey. And then we rebooted it as Crab on Clockit.
Right.
So it's basically, they ripped this off from me completely. When I saw Downton Abbey on the screen, I got so mad because that is so much like our show
Yes.
about a little crab who learns to read.
But I loved, yes, it was
It's
devastating.
like shot for
It's
shot,
awful.
the same vibe. Not the same words, not the same characters, but the vibe identical.
But on Clockit, voiced by Seth MacFarlane, that funny man.
Oh, he's
Hilarious.
so many
You're
voices.
Downton Abbey you're talking about right now, that's very similar to the streaming service that I was at before this, right? I worked at a very small British streaming service that only showed British dramas and British crime shows. It was called Niblington. And Niblington was, to be honest, the most boring experience of my entire life.
Yeah,
We were
yeah.
doing a lot of shows called Midwinter Crimes, Dr. Professor's Curious Little Night of Mischief.
Yes.
Shows like that with...
Oh, you guys had a
did
series of the history of different castles, right?
We did, yes, a history of castles called Knights and Knaves. It was really awful.
I read an article about that. They surveyed 100 retirement home workers, and they said that was the #1 streaming service on at the time of death when many people
Correct.
died.
Yes, there's they actually started trying to as well. Someone tried to come to arrest me. A detective tried to arrest me for killing lots and lots of old people. They thought it
Oh,
was
God
intentional.
forbid.
They thought it was intentional. I
It's
said
just a correlation. Correlation is not
completely
causation.
circumstantial, just because they died during Mrs. Fanny Wig's brand new proposal does not mean that was the
They
reason
were
they died.
bored to death? No.
But I will say I love Mrs. Finnywig's brand new proposal. She had so many.
But you
She
brought
had
in
The
so
proposals.
many.
And she was incredible, right?
And I loved it. It was both her being proposed to and her proposing things at work. I thought it was genius.
She is an incredible British actress. You've probably seen her before. You don't even remember. She was in Harry Potter. She played all of the little gremlins in Gringotts, covered in makeup.
Good God.
Her name was Deborah Zontivavi, and she was wonderful.
That's great.
Incredible.
Mrs. Zonta, baby.
And I will
Fox for the outrageous.
By the way,
A very funny woman, I will say.
by the way, I forgot to announce I booked her. By the way,
I knew he was going to
I
say
knew
it.
it.
You got her.
You got her.
I got Zonta Babies, and she is going to be showing everybody all the babies that she finds.
Yeah, she does that as a charity work. She goes around finding babies, right?
Yes, she finds missing babies.
And then,
Okay.
And then what does she do with them again?
She just kind of pats them on the back and says, "Have you?" As you
And then she
were."
gives them back.
gives them back.
Incredible. Let's talk about sleep mode. That you can put the watch on sleep mode, and there are shows that you can that aren't exciting.
Oh, we have to tell everyone about sleep.
Oh, I love sleep. It's a whole different slate. You can put the watch in sleep mode, and you get nighttime, sleepy time shows that can put you to sleep. One of my favorite shows that we have is Harry Styles reading books.
Yeah.
I think it's a genius idea. He's so sexy. He reminds me a lot of the Twix show that I was on.
Yeah.
He is just so sexy with his voice, and he just reads you these lullabies, these nice stories.
God, was
He'll
he
read you-
expensive?
yeah, he was so expensive, but like spare no cost, you know.
But we also have one which is called Time a Different Way, where we have different actors coming on, and instead of talking about the clock and reading it in a chronological order, they just say time in different times out of the blue.
Yeah, and lots
Yeah.
of quotes about time.
It really redefines what time is, right? It's a lot of like, it's 4:35 now. It's 6:24.
Jeremy
Ken Seltzer,
Irons, Jeremy Irons' reading of 7:23 a.m.
Oh,
changed
Tears.
the game for me.
Tears.
absolutely
I got
mental.
chills all over my body to my toes.
Absolute
Absolutely
tears.
mental. Amazing.
Yeah. So sleep mode is wonderful. We're so excited to show it. Basically, what happens if you're in the middle of any show, you can turn on sleep mode, and that show will become also a sleepy time version of that show.
Well, what happens is it's like you're watching Adam Sandler's Sanding, right?
Yeah.
Send it down. Send it
And
down.
Sand it down.
You send it down, and you turn on sleep mode. He talks like this. He talks like that.
That's a great Adam Sandler
Yeah.
impression.
But his
And that was a whole
voice gets distorted.
separate crew.
Yes.
Where we had a third crew that was the sleep crew, where that was when the actors would do the exact same scene,
Yes.
but on lots of NyQuil.
Yeah, so first unit was content, second unit
Yes.
time, third unit sleepy mode.
Well, we should talk about the fourth unit, the compass.
Yes. Yes.
Compass
Yeah.
mode is my favorite. It's my crowning achievement.
Oh God, compass mode.
really-
You, the
Gross.
head of
Man.
funny,
Loves
came up with this idea.
I'm the head of comedy and I also came up with compass mode. It's my favorite one. It's my favorite
Tell
one.
us. Tell
them
us.
what it is.
Tell
what
them.
it is.
Not
First
us.
of all, compass mode is something entirely different. What happens is everything is related to where you're going. So if you start walking a certain direction, it changes the emotion of the character in the scene. So north is happy, west is sad,
Yes.
God.
south, of course, hungry, and east is confused.
And
Let me
these
tell
are,
you-
we pulled from ancient Greek theater, which is trained that north is always happy and west is always sad.
true.
South,
Commedia dell'arte.
yes.
It's,
South
you know,
is
kabuki, it's
south
everything.
is hungry.
Now, not only does compass mode have
And
then
in my
each
culture, South is starving.
Wow. What
Wow.
culture is that?
Idaho.
wow.
I will say I know this is off topic, but the Idaho culture, so rich.
It's a rich culture.
rich culture.
You brought this up and talked to us a lot about the Idaho culture.
Yeah.
You tell us a lot about it, and I did not know it was so rich, and
Me
I feel
either.
ignorant.
I
Right?
feel
No, it's
so
deeply rich. A
ignorant.
lot of people don't know. A lot of people don't know that we have our own holidays. We have our version of Christmas lasts 6 months.
Whoa.
So that is why I take so many vacation
and
days.
it's presents
for
every
sure.
day,
And I'll
right?
tell you what, Santa comes every night.
Wow.
Only in Idaho.
Wow.
And I mean, I don't know why people haven't appropriated this yet because it is such
You want
a
people
good
to
tradition.
appropriate it.
Oh yes, Idaho culture is all about sharing.
I mean, to ask
Oh.
in the UK we say Happy Christmas instead of Merry
Yeah.
Christmas. Do they say something different in Idaho?
We say howdy doody. It's Christmas again.
It's so different to the culture.
The
I
culture's
cannot
so
believe
different.
it.
I'm so sorry. I cut you off earlier.
We were just talking about compass.
I was
mode.
talking about
talking
compass
about
mode,
compass
and I'll
mode,
say
of
what
course.
was so different about compass mode than all the other modes is that we needed separate writers' rooms for each show, depending on what direction you're going in, right? So just
Can I
say,
just say really quickly, we have so much money.
So much. Your family illegally took over Angola, and that was a huge thing for you, right?
And they knew when I turned a certain age that so much money would go into the wrong hands, Butterfinger hands, if you will.
Yes.
And did they know I would make quite a beautiful sculpture like I would Clockit? Who knew?
Have your parents talked to you about it at all? Are they interested in
Do
Clockit?
they like it?
So they refuse to see it.
Okay.
Because if it's not a gun, they don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But one day, I will get my parents' approval.
They won't even have a choice. Clockit, we've made a deal with every watch company that Clockit will at least have to play for the first 15 hours that we launch on your watch.
Yeah.
It's going to go global. It's going to take over every single watch.
Oh, let's talk about the grand weekend where everyone's
Grand
watch
Weekend.
will stop talking.
Grand Weekend.
It's this coming weekend.
This
Everything-
weekend.
Grand weekend.
We are going to change the trajectory of planet Earth itself.
It's a
Because
massive
Everyone's going to look down at their watch.
and go, what is this?
This weekend,
happening?
look to your wrist.
Look to your wrist. You know when you are driving along and sometimes you'll hear an Amber Alert and somebody else will have that? Imagine Amber Alerts going off everywhere for a full scripted content.
Except it's Judi Dench's new show, Judy, 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 Time for More Judy. Something that barely fits on the watch, but we bought for it.
We got her eye and we got her nose.
It's going to be amazing when every single watch goes off at the same time
Well,
with
and
Judi Dench's intro to the show, Judy, 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 it's time for more Judy.
That's Grand Weekend for you.
Can we announce to the sound she's doing?
Yes, go.
Because she's doing a big sound to get your attention, right? Everyone's going to hear the same sound. Is it okay to announce the sound?
Yeah,
Yes,
do it.
Announce it.
And
Ja-
she's
and-
making the sound with her mouth.
Yeah, Dame Judi Dench kills this sound.
But
She
we're also
destroyed.
because we're doing a Grand Weekend starts at 3:33 p.m. New York time.
Which is, I know it's going to be a little inconvenient for the rest of the world.
But we want to, and that's why we
sorry.
thought, because time zones are so different.
Time zones have been a huge obstacle for
I'm
us.
sorry. You tell me a time that works for everybody. You
I'm
tell
sorry.
me.
You tell me a time.
This
Are
is
you
a saying we say in my family. Put a gun to my head and find a time zone that works for everybody. There isn't.
I can only imagine the Zoom meetings coordination your family must go through. To be a fly on the wall of that email, I'd laugh my hardest laugh out loud.
And you're a dunce.
So it's going to be tough. Some people, China, Australia, going to be more like 3 a.m. or 4:30 a.m. Which
But we're gonna pay it back. We're gonna pay it back. 12
But
hours
we're paying
later,
it back.
We're gonna do 3:33 p.m. Australian time. So all the New Yorkers are gonna get awoken by Maggie.
Yes.
Gyllenhaal.
Maggie
Gyllenhaal,
and
my
Maggie
favorite actress
Smith.
in the world.
Yes, Maggie Gyllenhaal and Maggie Smith are doing a double show called Maggie's on Maggie's, and where they talk about everything.
And do their sound, won't you?
Okay,
Do their
I will.
sound.
Okay, I will. Their sound. Maggie Gyllenhaal goes, ha, ha, and Maggie Smith goes, well, I never.
When I gave you guys $48 billion, I said, please just do something with my favorite actress, Maggie Gyllenhaal.
You were obsessed with Maggie Gyllenhaal. What's your
Still
favorite Maggie Gyllenhaal movie?
Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great,
Yes,
sure.
she's great.
Dark one. Dark
Okay,
one.
well, let's talk about the sound that Selena Gomez makes.
Yes, well, yes, talk about the slate. Let's talk about the slate.
Let's talk about. Well, that's a new show. The sound that Selena Gomez makes.
It's
That's
a full show.
She's not doing a sound
She's not-
for,
Oh,
for the, for the Grand
Contractually,
Weekend.
she will never do a sound.
No,
She
it's
will
a-
never
it's
do
a-
a
We
sound.
tried.
It's our idea is it's a 4-episode miniseries about Selena Gomez working up the courage to find the sound that she does.
And it's a game show.
It's a game show.
Which is
It's
really fun.
We're trying to do this first thing ever, a dramatic game show.
Dramatic game show where if you can figure out what she's about to sing before she sings it, you'll get to become her.
Uh-huh.
And we have a very fun costume, a big wig we put on you, and then we get a new Selena, which
Yes.
is a lot cheaper if we do it later seasons.
Yes, but
Yes.
four episode mini series. So we're hoping somebody gets the sound, maybe episode 1 or episode 2.
And let's talk about also how the timing of the show. It's not a normal show, right? You can't watch a 30-minute, hour-long show on your watch. What is that
can't.
gonna
That's
look
silly.
like,
No,
right?
yeah, no,
No,
gross.
all of our shows are 4 to 5 hours.
Yes, all of our shows are 4 to 5
Exactly.
hours, and all of our movies
the
are 8.
problem with Quibi, we talk a lot about it's tough to start a new streaming service because Quibi did what it did.
Yeah,
Obviously.
yeah, it lost a lot of like promise and
Lost
confidence.
a lot of trust. The VCs don't even want to touch anything anywhere close to
And
it.
it's so sad.
It's
But
so
the
sad.
problem with Quibi was that nobody wants to watch a 10-minute episode. That's absurd. That's way too short.
Yes.
Let's get in that car and drive it the other way.
Yes,
drive it the other way.
like, to be honest, and I've got a lot of friends at Quibi. I've got a ton of friends at Quibi. I've got so many friends at Quibi, but they don't know time like we do. We are a watch company. We understand the importance of time, and what's the best time? A long one.
Yes,
you know?
and you have to be able to leave and not miss a single thing because you have
Yes.
to live your life. We are not asking the fact that we are bringing people's TVs to their hands.
Yes.
is not saying we want you to go to your couch. We want your couch to go to you. We want it to be
Yes.
accessible.
And this is the
we
thing-
want TV
yes.
to be convenient, easy, and like a wet blanket just in the back.
And this is what we want to. I also, maybe it's important to say that our app doesn't work like Netflix, where you can just select a show. It's like a TV channel where it just plays the show sequentially anytime.
You get, mate.
You get
You
what
get
you
what
get.
you get.
And so we had to figure out, how do we write the shows so where if somebody misses 30 minutes to an hour, how does it feel like they didn't really miss anything?
Right.
You know?
But you just factor all that in. If they missed yesterday, how do they get today? Also, they're walking south, so now all the characters are hungry. Does that change what's going on? And then they want to know what time it is, so they stop and you know.
Yes.
And that's the thing.
Maya
It's,
Bialik tells
it's
them
like, and that's what
3:34,
I think that's what we're so excited about, is for somebody to look down at their watch and go, "What the time is it?" Press Adam Sandler goes, "Oh, it's 4:30,"
Yes, and
and they go, "Oh my gosh, I've been missing." Sandler sands it, you know.
And don't worry, just because it's like a TV guide where it's just like a lot of TV over and over again, there still is a home screen. Like Roku City, we have Clockit's Cottage.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
So when
Clockit's
you turn it
Cottage.
off, you'll see the cottage.
A
Oh,
lot
it's
of
so-
Easter eggs on Clockit's Cottage.
So many
If you
Easter
wanna
eggs.
zoom
You
in.
get to find it's just like Disneyland, where we have our little cartoon guy who's the clocky mouse.
Clocky Mouse.
Clocky mouse. And you have to find all the hidden clocky mouses within Clocky's cottage.
Yeah, I will say it's tough. It's tough. The watch already is very small. So
Small.
these clocky mouses are a pixel, maybe 4.
And if you zoom in, it does get grainier.
It's very grainy. It's
Yeah,
not
actually,
clear.
it's
Have you
worse.
tried to zoom in on a clock?
We didn't hire anybody that knew how to do that. So that's if you know anybody.
That's just cherries on top, really. That's you're lucky we got it. You know what I mean?
We're just giving you extra sides.
It's amazing we got to that.
We are so excited.
God, we are excited.
We are so excited about
Yeah.
everything Clockit and our slate. And now maybe we should just mention some safety things that we legally have to bring up. That this product is safe.
Oh,
It's so safe.
It's the safest. We have a whole committee of safety scientists handpicked from Harvard, MIT, and Cal State Fullerton. And they have been working day in, day out to make sure this is safe.
Yes, they
Giggle,
went to
Giggle,
safety
tell-
scientist school. They're so safe. They're
Yes.
beautiful people.
Giggle is in charge of our walking tests, where we have a crash room, kind of like in those car commercials, where we have people walking, watching TV, and we put stuff in front of them.
Yes, we do a lot of like the construction workers holding glass panes and walking in front of you. And I'll tell you, a lot of people walk into them. So we have
Yes.
to design
Well,
something.
so
right?
we've designed a little safety feature that if you are watching and looking down at your watch, we have added a motion detection. We've used the inherent motion detection part of the app to let you know, wink, wink, you're about to hit a tree. Wink, wink, you're
God,
about
did
to hit
I give
something.
a lot of money
And
for this?
That was
$48
was
billion is not enough.
Our fifth unit, of course, was responsible for Adam Sandler reading off literally every single obstacle that a man or woman could encounter in their lives.
Yes. So we thought it would be fun. We were originally just going to do a little alert sign. Some other voice is going to come on. But then you had the great pitch giggling of, why not just make them fucking do it? Why not? We're already getting them in this room.
not?
I want to give a shout out to all of our talent who was so game.
So into
Chance
it.
the Rapper, Adam Sandler, Dame Judi Dench,
James
Gyllenhaal.
Corden, his another late night show.
The Property Brothers.
Ryan B. Alex,
Sydney Sweeney.
Mr. Metz.
Keanu Reeves.
You have to watch Mr. Metz, the big old baseball head
Oh,
boatsman.
God.
Mr. Metz talks menstruation. It's about women.
Yes.
It's
women's
such a beautiful
bodies.
show.
Show
we
it
should
to
talk
your
about
daughter.
I wish when I was a little girl
Me
that
too.
I
Yes.
had a baseball that could tell me why I was bleeding.
Yes, are you kidding?
I wish that for me. And
Oh.
so I'm so glad that no little girls will suffer
Yes.
like that anymore.
And Giggly and I sat all the men down in one of our conference rooms.
Yes.
And we said, if this isn't hooked up to the menstruation cycle, we are out.
Yeah.
there was a moment, and that's why every single show is hooked up to a 28-day cycle.
And there's our 6th unit. And that's our 6th unit, the menstruation.
The menstruation.
So every 28th day at 11:42, the Mets logo comes on and teaches girls and the world about
Not and the
menstruation.
world,
Because
and the
again,
world.
you cannot skip
Anyone.
this. You cannot skip this. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things that in the room
You also
guys
can't turn the volume down.
No, you cannot. We've overrid but I thought it was so beautiful when you brought up the menstruation thing to try to get every woman on the same 28-day cycle
Because it
with
does
a watch.
have subliminal messaging where it does actually activate the menses
Yes.
so that every woman in the world
Yes.
ovulates at the same time.
Yes. And when I inherited $48 billion, I thought, what do I want to do with this? I want to change the world, but also I want to be really silly.
Yes.
So
yes.
I first accomplished that by meeting with you guys and got really silly.
And we luckily all met doing karaoke because we worked at different places.
We worked the
Absolutely.
karaoke circuit for
Yes,
years.
we worked the karaoke.
We worked together, but actually we were just all competing for that $100.
Frenemies, a big frenemies
Everybody
thing.
in the karaoke circuit knows each other. Mr. Island in the stream.
Oh,
Yes.
that is what we
God,
are.
Yes.
Jolly Ponton.
Mr. Jolene.
Jolene, I hit Jolene. I kill it every time.
Miss, you may be right, I may be crazy.
Yeah.
Good.
Really good. I also want to mention the other safety features we have on this little doodad, which you get it with the subscription. We send you this as well. We send you a little watch oven mitts you can put in between your wrist and the watch.
Yes.
It gets so hot. It simply gets so hot.
It's very.
Way hotter
It's
than you'd
on.
ever expect.
It's on 24 hours. Once the grand weekend happens, it doesn't shut off.
But let me tell you something. For the grand weekend, we are giving out so many fun koozies for Under the Watch. We have so many made a line of
Yes.
denim ones that go under the watch.
Crocs made one that looks like a little shoe.
Yes, and you can put charms on
And
it.
these koozies have a shelf life of 6 days. So you can buy new ones constantly to
Yes.
make a new time. Sorry, there is also a gas that comes from
is.
Yes.
the watch that you
Yes.
should be aware of. So we do make tiny little gas masks
Mm-hmm.
that you have to switch out once every 28 days. At the beginning of your menses, you switch out your gas
And
mask.
Which is so
another-
convenient.
Another big thing is that watch already captures a lot of health data. So luckily our shows will let you know how you're doing. If you're bleeding, if you've been stabbed, if you're having a heart attack, you'll hear that you're having a heart attack from Dame Judi Dench if you catch her at the right time.
And then,
Which
the
is
feature-
11:46. If you have a time, if you have a heart attack at any other time, you're fucked.
You're fucked. But I also want to talk about our partnership that we recently can talk about probably for the grand weekend with
Oh,
REI.
yeah.
REI, you know when you go on hiking trips with a backpack, you can have a straw from a water bottle. Now you can stick the straw into the watch and get water.
Camelback. It's a camelback watch.
It's a camelback.
Very exciting.
Yeah, so
How
you
do we fit all that water in there? The answer is we don't. There is one drop of water. It's meant to be used in
It's
emergencies.
a big loose sack too on the side of it.
Yeah.
REI was very upset. They felt swindled. They felt tricked. But what do we call that? A joke. A goof in it.
Yeah.
With
We
goofing.
call it a goof in it.
And I think what needs to happen with these big companies and these streaming
It's about
services
time.
is it's time to make this lighter and sillier. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like, I don't know, the Hulu, the Apple TVs, the Netflix. It's just getting so heavy.
Yes, of course.
I just want Adam Sandler to sand some sand and tell me I'm on my period.
Yes, and that's what's sanding it down with Adam Sandler. He's actually sanding sand, not wood, not granite. He's sanding down sand, and he's so confused how it doesn't work.
Competition.
Ah,
It's really nice.
I'm so excited for the world to see it. I'm excited for Grand Weekend.
And you
Yes.
can be a part of the conversation too.
Absolutely.
Grand weekend. Use the hashtag, how do I grand this weekend? Send a picture of yourself. Email it to us.
Email
Yes,
to us.
Join the conversation.
We don't have a Twitter. We don't have a Facebook. We only have an email. But get on our mailing list.
Email us.
That is our paper mailing list.
Yes, our paper mailing list. We love those letters.
Absolutely.
So just keep joining the conversation.
It's a big conversation.
It's a big conversation. It's going to last 48 hours.
And then remember, the hashtag is how do I grand this weekend? Or if you mispronounce it, how do I grand it his weekend?
And look forward to this, everyone. Please look forward to it. I'm begging you.
And you know what? Even if you forget, I hope you kind of forget, because I hope Judi Dench scares the shit out of you at 3:30.
Especially if you're
I hope
located
she
in
does.
Europe or Asia. Especially then.
Especially then. We have just a little bit of time left. I would love to know, this is a fun question for the group, how much money does everyone have? How
Right
much
now?
money do you have left?
I used to have $48 billion, and now I have 12 grand.
Okay.
That's
Okay,
great. That's
wonderful.
great.
I have $400 in savings, and I have $320,000 in credit card debt.
I have $13 in property, but $4,000 in liquid cash.
Oh, that's great.
Awesome.
I used to have $1.6 million in NFTs, but now I owe $4 million in NFTs.
Are you guys in NFTs?
I'm big in NFTs.
That's been another thing. We wanted to have
I
a
wanted to
meeting with
add
the apes.
NFTs. I wanted
How
to
do we
meet
get a
with the
meeting
apes.
with the apes?
I've tried. They're all actually chimpanzees. It's
No
a mess
way.
in that office.
Well, it's because they don't have a menstruation cycle.
Yes.
Yes, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we are in a year grand. This is for grand weekend. This will occur when everything takes
Phase
place.
2, if you
Now
will.
that'll be
Oh
a
my
year from
God,
now.
phase 2.
Oh,
I'm
phase
losing my
two,
God
we
over phase 2.
can't say much, but there will be a Messiah.
But there
Yes.
will be a Messiah. We're planning on launching a Messiah through the
It's
thing.
going to be huge. Everybody's going to be wearing a watch, and that's when they'll find the Messiah.
And then following the Messiah is a new type of cryptocurrency that's going to be different than the rest. Why? Because it's loud. It's the only cryptocurrency that is measured in screams.
Yes.
And if you're rich, everyone around you is deaf. That's how it goes.
That's
you're
how you
walking
know.
around with the loudest little coins in your watch on your phone.
We're pumped. We're pumped. I can't wait and imagine all the people sitting with their watch. I mean, you can have people that are just normal people in the middle of Indiana that get woken up. And you're going to have celebrities, too, woken up in the middle of the night by Judi Dench every
Oh,
once in a
God.
while.
I can't wait for the finale of Grand Weekend will be closed out by a poem spoken by Michelle Obama on your watch.
And can we say the poem, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys want to? Okay, I will. It's this beautiful poem about time. And what she does is she stands on this huge, beautiful stage, and you can just see everything. Unfortunately, on the watch, she just looks tiny. She's about 7 pixels.
We got a cheek.
And we didn't put a mic close enough, so it does sound like you're in the space, but she talks this beautiful poem about time, and it's a Rumi poem, and it goes, time, it's of the essence. Time, it's what you're running out of. Time, are you here, God? It's me. Time.
And stick around, because after that, we're going to be playing our first episode of Giovanni Ribisi's Rib Eatsies.
It's me, Judi Dench.
Oh, it's starting.
It is upon us.
Happy
The
grand-
time has come.
Have
The
grand
Messiah is here.
Happy Grand Weekend, everybody.
Run for the hills.
This has been Artists on Artists on Artists and Artists, answering the question, now that's why they call it Hollywood. Good night.
Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists is an improvised Hollywood Roundtable podcast created, performed, and produced by Kylie Brakeman, Jeremy Culhane, Angelo Giarratana, and Patrick McDonald. AOA is a Sugar 23 podcast. Mike Mayer and Michael Sugar, executive producers. Liam Billingham, producer. Production support by Angelo Restaino and Anthony Defranchesco. Music is by Gabriel Ponton. The opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect the opinions of anyone who works on it, not even the performers, because this is an improvised podcast and we're stupid. Full video versions of AOA are available on YouTube, so please like and subscribe and leave us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Good night, Hollywood!